Put on your thinking caps, because today's subject is pie, except this lesson comes with a flaky crust and a dollop of whipped cream on top. We're slicing through a tempting lineup, from an all-American apple classic, a zesty citrus favorite, all the way to the rich spiced pies that make the holidays worth waiting for. However it's filled, however it's finished, pie is on the curriculum, and class is in session. For anyone who isn't a confident baker or simply doesn't have the time to make one from scratch, you're in luck, because these ready-to-bake pies deliver that same homemade taste without the mixing bowls and mess. And it's not just you reaching for them. America devours more than 180 million frozen pies every year, with names like Mrs. Smith's, Sara Lee, and Marie Callender's that have built their entire reputation on that demand. But it's Marie Callender's that dominates the market with a lineup of more than 25 flavors, from tart key lime and rich chocolate satin to razzleberry and their best-selling Dutch apple. So what keeps fans reaching for another slice? Their flaky crusts, real fruit fillings, and recipes that genuinely taste homemade. Let's step inside the factory and watch them come together, beginning with the most popular pie, the Dutch apple. At the heart of every Dutch apple pie are these fresh Fuji apples. They're a premium variety and a common choice in commercial pie factories because their firm flesh withstands the heat of baking without turning mushy inside the pie. The Fujis begin with a thorough wash, passing through this chlorine dioxide bath that flushes off surface dirt and loose debris. Squeaky clean, they move into the peeling line, where each apple settles into its own cup, perfectly positioned for the peeler. A blade peels from top to bottom while the apples rotate, skinning them in one continuous motion. At the same time, a coring tube runs through the center, drilling out the seeds and stems, with the machine peeling 150 apples per minute. Then it's through this rapid slicer that cuts the entire fruit into even wedges almost instantly. Those slices head straight into a bath of vitamin C and citric acid, a quick dip that keeps them from browning. They're then bagged up and refrigerated, sitting ready until it's time to build a batch of filling. When that time comes, the slices are loaded into this 2,000-gallon steam-jacketed kettle. A special blend of cinnamon and brown sugar is poured in next, designed to deepen the apple flavor and form a gooey glaze as the mixture churns. Their goal isn't to fully cook the apples, though. That would turn them into a mushy mess. Instead, the mix churns slowly at just 120 degrees for a full hour, keeping the apple slices firm while the flavors meld together. While the filling slowly comes together, the dough-making process is getting underway nearby. The secret of getting that flaky homemade-style crust just right comes down to one thing: keeping the dough as cold as possible. It begins with flour that's been kept frozen before it's poured into this 2,000-gallon horizontal mixer at a chilly 45 degrees. Giant blocks of shortening are then added at a slightly warmer 68 degrees, so the shortening fats will blend evenly throughout the flour without melting too early. A touch of salt follows, then ice-cold water. The chilled water offsets the heat created by the mixer itself, keeping the dough hovering around 50 degrees as it mixes. Holding that cold temperature is very important because the shortening needs to stay in small, solid chunks instead of completely melting into the flour. Because once it's baked, those chunks will melt away and create steam pockets that separate the layers into a golden, flaky crust. And surprisingly, it only takes about a minute for the mixer to finish the dough. The fresh dough is unloaded into this giant bin that gets hoisted overhead and emptied into the forming machine. Inside it, the dough mass is shaped into long bricks before being cut down into smaller portions. Those portions run under a series of progressive rollers, gradually pressing them down into sheets the perfect thickness for pie crusts. The dough sheets are then draped over these moving 9-inch pie tins as they pass underneath the line. A forming die presses the sheet snugly inside each pan, giving the crust its shape. Then another machine stamps and crimps the edges, forming the decorative edge around the crust, while trimming off any excess dough, which gets gathered up and recycled back to the beginning. By now, the apple filling has fully come together into a thick and gooey mixture loaded with crisp Fuji apple slices. From the cooking tanks, the filling travels through tubing into the depositor positioned above the conveying pie shells. One by one, each shell gets filled with a hefty 24-ounce portion. That's more than a pound of apples packed into every pie, and the line is moving fast enough to fill 100 pies every minute. The filled pies then convey straight into this industrial flash freezer. While they chill, there's just enough time to put together the buttery streusel crumble that will soon cover the top. The streusel comes together inside this ribbon blender, where flour, brown sugar, and a generous dose of their aromatic cinnamon spice blend are poured in. Blades mix everything rapidly, turning everything into a dry and crumbly mixture of thousands of fine sand-like crumbs that carry all that buttery spiced flavor. The crumble mixture is then portioned straight into individual packets. When the pies leave the freezer, each box receives one of those streusel packets alongside the frozen pie. The rest of the job happens in your kitchen, where the streusel gets scattered across the top just before it goes in the oven, where it bakes into a golden brown and crunchy topping that no Dutch apple pie would be complete without. Next up is a pie that feels incomplete without a scoop of vanilla ice cream on top. As it bakes, the filling turns soft, juicy, and bubbling beneath its golden crust, creating the kind of dessert that makes every slice downright peachy. Making the peach filling starts with these whole peaches arriving at the processing line by the thousands. They're first given a full cleaning bath, followed by a rinse that clears away any leftover dirt from the orchards, before dropping into individual cups on the conveyor that carries them under the pitter, which slices them in half and punches out the pit in one clean pass. Getting rid of the fuzzy skin is handled by this food-grade sodium hydroxide solution bath that dissolves the pectin holding the skin to the fruit. It's done in less than a minute, leaving smooth and cleaned peach halves behind. Then a fast-moving conveyor runs them through these 5 spinning blades in rapid succession, cutting each half into wedges that's perfectly proportioned for pie filling. Those wedges get packed into bags and refrigerated, holding until a batch of filling is scheduled. A worker cuts open a bag and dumps the peach slices into this 5,000-gallon cooking vat. Cornstarch goes in to thicken things up first, sugar follows, then the heat gets dialed up carefully. Peaches don't take well to high heat, so the mix is brought to only 120 degrees and held there for just 5 minutes. That's all it takes for the cornstarch to gelatinize, pulling the water and sugar into a thick and velvety syrup that clings to every slice. The finished filling moves through this tube into the depositor, which loads each crust passing beneath it with over a pound of that sweet peachy mixture. A second sheet of dough gets draped over each filled pie as they convey. Then the crimping machine presses the 2 crusts together around the edge and stamps off the excess dough, sealing the pies shut. They continue through the flash freezer set near -15 degrees for 30 minutes before heading to packaging. At the end of the line, each pie is wrapped in cellophane, locking in freshness, boxed, and prepared for shipment. All that's left is a trip through your oven until those juicy peaches are bubbling beneath that flaky golden crust. Our next pie comes straight from Southern kitchens, where smooth and creamy sweet potato pie has been a dessert table staple for generations. The filling starts with these Beauregard sweet potatoes, one of the most widely commercially used varieties. Their dense orange flesh and naturally high sugar content is what gives the filling its deep and rich sweetness without needing much help. Fresh from the fields, they first pass through this large wash system, removing any stuck-on soil. Then they fall into the peeler, where abrasive rollers and water jets work together, scrubbing away their outer skins as they tumble through. The peeled spuds are then cooked at around 200 degrees until the flesh is perfectly tender. Once cooked, they drop into the miller, which pulverizes the softened taters down into a rough pulp. That pulp is forced through this rotating drum pulper that acts like a giant mechanical sieve, catching fibers and leftover solids, leaving behind an incredibly smooth, velvet-like puree. The finished puree gets sealed into aseptic bags and held in refrigeration, ready and waiting until it's time to turn it into sweet filling. Starting a new batch of filling, they slice open the chilled puree bags, emptying them into this industrial blending vat. Massive mechanical paddles begin slowly folding the ingredients together, like evaporated milk for richness, whole liquid eggs for its smooth custard-like structure, while brown sugar brings deep caramel-like sweetness. Then comes a heavy dose of cinnamon and nutmeg, the spices that fills the mixing room with that classic sweet potato aroma. In less than 3 minutes, the mixture transforms into a thick, glossy custard. Smooth, rich, and perfectly primed, it's now ready to be metered out into the waiting pie crusts moving down the line. Now the filling is fully blended, it's pumped straight to the depositor waiting above the conveyor. It doses out a precise 28 ounces into each passing crust at a pace of 400 pies per minute. The filled pies then wind through a spiral flash freezer at -15 degrees, setting the filling and locking in everything that went into making it. After they're chilled, they're boxed and on their way, bound for ovens nationwide and bringing a little Southern tradition with them. The next entry might as well be the official dessert of fall. It's thick and velvety, warmly spiced, and always the finishing touch of any holiday feast. It's none other than pumpkin pie. Here's a fun fact: commercial pumpkin pies aren't actually made from the bright orange carving pumpkins used for jack-o'-lanterns during Halloween. Instead, they use a cultivar known as the Dickinson pumpkin. It's tan-colored, football-shaped, and packed with dense, deep orange flesh that delivers a sweet, honey-like flavor that's perfect for pie filling. And Libby's grows the vast majority of them used across the states. Upon arrival, the pumpkins move through a washing system where rotating scrubbers work them over until they're completely clean. Then they're crushed open and broken down into smaller pieces. The pieces move through a wilter that applies heat to soften the flesh, prepping them for the grinder ahead. The softened pieces are fed into a grinder that breaks the flesh down further while simultaneously separating out the rind and seeds. What remains moves through the drum pulper, which presses the flesh through a fine mechanical sieve, straining out any lingering fibers and leaving behind a smooth and thick, deep orange puree. That puree is pumped directly into this giant stainless steel blending vat, where it meets their house recipe: evaporated milk, liquid eggs, granulated sugar, cinnamon, nutmeg, and their proprietary spice blend, creating the pie's creamy filling. But the mixture isn't fully cooked inside the vat though. Instead, it's lightly heated and mixed at just 150 degrees for only a few minutes, keeping the custard fluid and pourable so it can flow smoothly through the depositor before the eggs begin to set and clog the line. Depositing nozzles then portions 28 ounces of the liquid pumpkin custard directly into the raw dough shells conveying underneath. The filled pies then head straight into the flash freezer for 30 minutes, locking everything in place until it's time to bake. Once they're in your kitchen, about an hour in the oven is all it takes for the crust to crisp up flaky and golden, while the pumpkin filling bakes into a silky custard, looking every bit of homemade. Our final pie comes with a bit of mystery baked into its origins. Some say it was first created in the late 1800s Florida Keys by a cook known as Aunt Sally, while others credit the Borden Milk Company in 1931 New York, which promoted a nearly identical recipe as part of their campaign to sell more of its sweetened condensed milk. No one can say for certain where it all began, but what's never been in question is the unmistakable ingredient that makes it an authentic key lime pie, a generous helping of sweetened condensed milk. 1,200 gallons of that sweet milk fills more than half of this 2,000-gallon mixing tank, joined with water setting the creamy foundation for the filling. Then comes key lime concentrate, layering in that bold citrus tang, and liquid egg yolks that will give the custard its structure once the pies bake. A final pour of corn syrup rounds everything out, adding just enough sweetness to balance the bright citrus bite of the key lime. Just a few minutes into mixing, the chemistry kicks in. The acidic lime juice reacts with the dairy and egg proteins, gradually thickening the mixture into a velvety key lime custard that's balanced between sweet and tart, ready to be metered into the waiting pie shells on the line. And those waiting shells aren't your typical rolled pastry dough. Instead, key lime pies get a buttery graham cookie crust, and it's made right here in the factory. After the cookies bake, they come out of the oven to be crumbled down and fed into the depositor, which rains the crumbs into the conveying pie tins, before a forming die presses the crumbs firmly into the shape of the crust, locking them in place. The finished key lime custard is then transferred to the depositing line, where each cookie crust receives a precise 22-ounce portion of that citrusy filling. They convey through this 100-foot tunnel oven at 325 degrees for 25 minutes, fully cooking the eggs and transforming the liquid custard into a dense, creamy, and indulgent filling that holds its shape cleanly in every slice. Right out of the oven, the pies ride upward into this spiral cooler, looping through more than 500 feet on the way down, shedding heat gradually before the finishing touches go on. Cooled to the touch, they pass under this multi-nozzle boundary border depositor that crowns each pie with a generous swirl of whipped cream. Then it's a trip through the flash freezer, where 2 hours at sub-zero temperatures brings each pie down to -10 degrees, coming out with everything locked firmly in place. Clear plastic domes are snapped over each pie to keep the whipped cream intact. Then they're packaged and on their way to freezer aisles. When you bring one home, it just needs a little time to thaw. Then grab a knife and carve out a slice, or maybe two. Nobody's counting. Which pie from today's lineup would earn a spot on your table? Or did we miss the one you were waiting for? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for tuning in to Made Vision. We'll see you next time.